So, and here we are back with another playthrough, and this time we're playing Aeon's End, War Eternal. Now, you can't see the whole of the play area because it is way too big, and I'd also like to point out that this playmat does not come with the game. I bought this separately. So, since this is the first time that I'm playing Aeon's End, I'm going to explain a little bit about what the game is, but probably also more importantly, what it isn't. It is a deck building game, but it's not like Thunderstone Advance, for example, or Shadow Rift. It's more like, probably it's most like, from the mechanics point of view, it's most like the Harry Potter deck building game. The reason is, first of all, the way the game works. You have heroes that you play, and I will tell you right from the start that I did not really dive into the lore. I haven't read anything on the back of the big cards and that tell you what the Nemesis is that you're fighting or who the mage breaches are. I don't care 2 ways from Sunday about any of this. To me, I wanted a deck builder that engages me, unlike Thunderstone Advance, and that I can set up quickly, unlike any of the deck builders that come from the Legendary Encounters franchise, because some of them are really, it takes a lot of time to set them up, blah, blah, blah. And also, quite frankly, sometimes they are just so frustratingly difficult that that I don't really feel like setting them up if I know that I'm going to lose anyway, and I don't even stand a chance. So, this is a lot more like the Harry Potter game in terms of you have heroes, and I'm going to show you one of them. That's not the hero that I'm playing with, but it doesn't really make any difference. And these heroes have certain abilities, and you get them by charging them. So they all have a particular ability that they can use if you buy it for them. They also have a unique starting card, which is unique to their character, which only they can use, and which you can identify quite easily by the fact that it's got their name on it. Well, actually, their image on it. And you are fighting against a nemesis. So in this case, it is a lot like any Cthulhu game that you might play. So we are playing against the Umbra Titan, because that is one of the easiest ones. And each of these nemesis, and I think there are 4 in this game, come with cards that are unique to this nemesis. So these would be either adversaries that you can draw from the event deck, or it could be attacks or power cards. And then you've got a set of non-unique power cards, adversaries. I don't know about adversaries, but definitely power cards and basic cards. That you add, so that each time you fight a nemesis, the experience will be slightly different. Now, the setup for this game that I'm going to show you is not the setup that you get for the game when I first unboxed it, where you have the pre-made sets, because in that game I got completely hammered. But it wasn't the same experience as I had when I played the Arkham Horror card game, because there I basically, after really one game, I decided to sell it. I played another game, and my resolution was absolutely clear. I'm going to get rid of this game. And this is just to illustrate that losing at a game doesn't mean I don't like it. This game is actually really, really well made. About the game mechanics, like in any deck builder, you have cards that you can use to attack, and all of the attacks are magical attacks, because you're playing a breach mage. Again, no idea about the lore behind this, I don't care. And you can use spells to manipulate either reality by focusing your breaches, and breaches are essentially spell slots, or by increasing health, or by killing things. And you have an offering of cards, and here it gets really interesting, of course, because they bring you randomizers. So basically, for each of these cards, and there are more in the box, you get one randomizer, and then you can just randomize the offerings so that it's different every single time you play. That is, I think, something that is quite usual, but it's also, in this game, probably, unless you are very experienced, quite deadly. Because this game, and they say it, is very hard. So for this particular playthrough, I've chosen a set of cards that I want to buy from to build my market. That makes sense given that I'm playing with Hydron, who can give back life to the town of Gravehold, which is the town that we are trying to defend. And if Gravehold ever gets to 0 life points, we lose the game. And we also have Mist. And her ability is that she can cast up to 3 different spells from any other player when she uses her power. And then she puts those spells not in the discard pile, but into those players' hands, which is very, very useful. Now, like in games like, I think this is the same for the legendary encounter games, at least. You have different stages. So this is stage 1, this is stage 2, and this is stage 3. And the stages get more and more difficult as you progress. This is probably the deck of cards that you will shuffle the second most, but the deck of cards that you will shuffle the most is the turn order deck, because you draw cards to determine who's going to go next. You don't, and this is very important, you don't shuffle your discard pile. So these cards are hardly ever going to be shuffled, because you just buy them, you put them into your pile, and you usually do not ever shuffle your deck. So these ones will not be shuffled as often, if ever. So that's the setup. What I'm going to do is I'm now going to move the camera, and then we're going to get stuck in. Okay. And here we go. So let's see who's going to... It's player 1 who's going to go first, and that is Hydron. Hydron has his 5 starting cards. He's got the World Heart Shard, which is his unique card. And he can either gain 1 ether. Ether is the currency in the game. Or you can get 2 ether if you're going to spend these 2 to buy a card. And then you place the next card that you gain in this turn on top of any ally's discard pile. So if you were to use 2 for this and he was going to buy a card, he would put the card into Mist's discard pile. So that's an interesting ability. So let's see. He's got 2 crystals, which give him 2 ether, and he could get a third or a 4th ether. So first of all, he's going to cast some spells. Well, he's not going to cast them, he's going to prep them. So you prep them by putting them into a breach, and you can only do this if your breach is fully opened, or if you're going to open, or if you're going to focus it on this turn. And what we're going to do is we are actually going to focus it. The second one, we're actually going to open it because it only costs 2, and he's going to prep his second spell in open breach number 2. And then we'll see whose turn it is next. And it is the Nemesis, so now we need to see what the Nemesis does. And in order to do this, we draw a card, and it says Power. Heart of Nothing. To discard 4 cards in your hand, power 2, unleash twice, or any player suffers 4 damage. So how we can get rid of this card is by simply dropping 4 cards. And power 2 means it doesn't unleash now, but it will unleash in 3 turns from now. And the next one is the Nemesis again. So again, we draw another card, and then we start resolving the cards that are already there. The Heart of Nothing does nothing on this turn, so we're just going to put it away. And then we've got the Cryptid, which is an Umbra Titan specific card, and it reads, the player with the most expensive prepped spell discards that spell, or Umbra Titan loses 1 Nemesis token. If Umbra Titan ever has no Nemesis tokens, we lose the game. This one has 6 life. This is where the strategy of the game kicks in, because we now know that for the next 3 turns, it will just be us. So the Nemesis won't go in this round again. So we can now make choices based on this knowledge. So now, let's see whose turn it is next. It's player 2. So now a Mist can do her thing, and she's first of all going to prep her spell. And she's got 1, 2, 3 ether, and she's got a special card, which is the Amethyst Paragon, which lets her gain 1 ether. And any ally may prep a spell in hand to their opened or closed breaches. Now this is interesting because usually you can only prep a spell to an open breach or one that you're focused on this round, but her ability lets Mazahedron take one of his spells and put it into an unopened breach, which he does. So, she's got 4 ether, and she is going to use them. And let's see how we're going to use this. We're going to buy Carbonize, which is a spell which does 3 damage, and also it reveals the top card of the turn order deck. And we may place that card on the bottom of the turn order deck. So this is also deck manipulation. It means if we don't like what we see, because it's the Nemesis that would go, and this is very unfortunate at the moment, we don't want this to happen. There could be reasons why we want the Nemesis to go next. We could manipulate the deck. So next up is player 1. So that's Mazahedron. Mazahedron is going to use his 3 spells. 1, 2, 3. And he's going to put 3 wounds on the cryptid. And then we need to see if we can do anything about the Heart of Nothing. And he's got 4 crystal, and he could discard them, and he is going to do this, and he's going to remove this card, and it goes away. Next up must be Mist, we know this. So Mist is player 2, and she has 1 spell prepped, and she's going to cast this, and she's going to put 1 wound on the minion. So now she's going to prep one of her spells, and she's going to use 3 crystals to open breach number 2, and she's going to prep this spell. So now everyone gets their cards back, and we don't shuffle the deck, so she draws the top 5 cards, which she put in to her deck in the order that she had chosen previously. So again, it is important that you make choices in this game. Then we shuffle the turn order deck. Cut it, and then we take the first card, and it is the Nemesis. So first of all, we draw a card, which doesn't act this time around, but it's important. Well, it can if it's an attack. It will come and hit her straight away, but in this case it won't. So, not yet. Persistent. The player with the most expensive prepped spell discards that spell. So we're going to do this, and we're going to discard this spell because it's the most expensive one. And that's it. So next up is another power card, Planar Collusion. It's a basic card, so this could come up with any Nemesis. Discard 2 prepped spells or unleash twice. And it's got power of 2, so it will hit in 3 turns of the Nemesis. So let's see who goes next. And it's the Nemesis again. So we have to discard a prepped spell, and we lose one of these tokens. And what happens here is another minion. It's an Umbra Titan minion, Grubber. If the Nemesis has 2 turn order cards in the turn order discard pile, which would be the case now, Umbra Titan loses 1 Nemesis token. Otherwise, Gravehold suffers 2 damage. Okay, so that's it. Next up is player 2. She doesn't have any prepped spells because we just discarded them all. So, what we're going to do is she's going to prep her spell, and she has 4. So first of all, she can let him prep a spell to an unopened breach because of her ability, and she does, so at least he can do some damage on his turn. And then we have 4 cards for which we can get stuff, and she is going to she's going to get a breach ore. So that's basically money, currency that she's getting there. So then she draws 5 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we turn this over, and she gains 1 more card from the discard pile. Then it is Mazahedron. Mazahedron has 1 card that she gave him. He was able to prep this, so he's going to put some pain on the cryptid. And then we'll see what he's got. And he's got 1 spell, which is going to prep. And he's got 4 cards that he is going to use to get something. And he's going to get a breach ore as well to get some more money in hand. Because obviously we need to start gaining cards. We need to start building our decks. And he gets 5 cards. And then it is player 2. So she can now cast Carbonize, which does 3 damage. And she could reveal the top card of the turn order deck. She may place that card on the bottom of the turn order deck. We now know, well, we can reveal it. It's Mother Hydron. We're not going to do anything with it. But she casts the spell and it does 3 damage. And we're going to do these 3 damage to this guy, to the minion. And then we will see what she does. She has two spells which she's going to prep, and she has 3 shards, and she's going to get volcanic glass, which is again currency. Now we know it's Mother Hydron. He does 1 damage, so that we discard the cryptid. It goes away. We move these over. And let's see what he's got. He's got 1 spell which is going to prep, and he's got 4 crystal, and he's going to use those to buy a card, and he is going to buy another breach ore. And then he draws up to 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she does the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it's another round. So we shuffle the deck and we cut it. Then we see who goes first, and it's the Nemesis. Okay, so first of all, it loses this power token. This one says, if the Nemesis has 2 turn order cards in the turn order discard pile, it doesn't. Umbra Titan loses 1 Nemesis token. Otherwise, Gravehold suffers 2 damage. So we're going to just subtract 2 from here. And what do we get? We get another power card, Seismic Roar. In order to discard this, we need to spend 6 ether, so that's quite an expensive card, and it's got power of 3, and Umbra Titan loses 2 Nemesis tokens. 1, 2, 3. Actually, this one would have unleashed, so we discard 1 spell each. And next up is player 2. So she deals 1 damage to the grubber. And she has 1 spell, which is going to prep. And now she has 2. She could use this breach ore to either gain 2 ether, or she could focus a closed breach with the lowest focus cost. So that's a really nice card. So she's going to play this so that he can prep a spell. And he preps a spell. So she has 1, 2, 3. She could buy a card for 5. And she is going to... She's going to get Thought Form Familiar, which is quite nice. She has a Fox Familiar now. And she will also use 2 to power 1 of her charges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's see who's next. And it is her again. So she deals 1 damage to the grubber, which kills it. And then let's see what she has. And she has 1, 2, 3, 5 and a spell. So first of all, we're going to prep the spell. 5. She's going to get another Thought Familiar. And she's going to get... Yeah, and she's going to get a charge. And she's going to discard the rest. Well, not discard, but she's played them. She's used them. So she now has 5 more cards. And we know that she won't go this round again. Next up is player 1. He deals 1 damage to the Nemesis. And he has 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, depending on what he wants to do. He's going to take Primordial Fetish, and he's going to give himself a charge, so that he can also start contributing with his charges. So next up is him again. He has no prepped spells, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what he can do. He has one spell which he's going to prep, and he's got 2, 3, 4, 5 ether. He can't really do anything about this up here, so he's going to get a volcanic glass for 3, and then he's going to add 1 charge, and that's him. So he's going to draw up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now this must be the Nemesis, and it is, no problem there. Remove one of these, and it's a Howling Spinner. Any player suffers 2 damage, 5 life points. And it is player 1. He deals 1 damage. We're going to deal this damage to the Howling Spinner. And let's see what he can do. He's got 1 spell which he's going to prep. He's going to play Primordial Fetish to focus his breach, because he doesn't need any healing at the moment. He's got 2, 4, 5 charges. And whatever he gains now, he's going to get Thought Form Familiar for her, and he's going to add 1 charge to his deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And next up is player 2. She deals 3 damage to the Howling. No, she's actually going to deal this to the Nemesis. And now she's going to look at the top card, and it is the Nemesis. We're going to put it at the bottom. And now she's going to prep this spell, and she's going to prep this spell. And she has 2 more spells that she can't do anything with, and she's got 1 charge which she can't use either. So she's going to discard the charge. You can't discard spells. You can only discard relics and gems. So she has 2 cards that she can't do anything with. So she draws 1, 2, 3 more cards, and it is the Nemesis. So the Nemesis first draws a card which we put to the side. We remove one of these tokens, and any player suffers 2 damage, so we're going to give this 2 damage to Mother Hydron. And then we suffer an attack. So this is a new type of card. This acts immediately. The players collectively destroy the most expensive prepped spell. That is terrible. Or Umbra Titan loses 2 Nemesis tokens. So we're going to take this spell and we're going to destroy it. Destroying means you take it out of the game. So it can't be bought anymore either. It doesn't go back into the offering. So that was terrible. So now we have player 1, and he's going to deal 1 damage to the Howling Spinner. And he has plenty of money. 2, 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, which is enough to destroy this seismic problem over here. So he's probably going to be tunneling under somewhere and going to do this, so it's not going to harm us. And that's the end of his turn. So he discards all of these. And he draws 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. And next up is it's player 2. And she gets to go, so she deals 1 damage. She just had to destroy the most expensive card she had, which is kind of annoying. And she has 2 spells which she's going to prep straight away. And she's got 4 crystal. Or she's going to focus her breach with the lowest cost, which she does, and she has 2 more left, and she's going to give herself a charge. And now we know it's the Nemesis, and we draw a card for the Nemesis. Any player suffers 2 damage. That's going to be Mother Hydron, because he can give himself 3 life back, because he's got the card. And we get a power card, a Photic Sun. Spend 7 to discard this. Unleash. The player with the most charges suffers 3 damage and loses all of their charges. So that is a reason why we want to fill up the charges quickly and use them quickly. Okay, so she draws 5 cards and she's got her Amethyst Paragon and 4 more cards. And it is player 2, so she deals 2 damage, which will take care of the Howling Spinners. They're gone. Whoops, that wasn't what I wanted to do. She has 1, 2, 3. Okay, so she's going to cast, she's going to prep 2 spells. She's going to let him prep, focus his breach. No, he can prep a spell to a breach. Does that. And she has 2, 4, and she's going to get Primordial Fetish for this. So she's going to put these away. Draw up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This game plays pretty fast. And next up is the Nemesis, so we lose 1 token. Nothing happens just yet, and we get an attack. Unleash twice, Gravehold suffers damage. First of all, Gravehold suffers 2 damage, 1, 2. Let's see what Unleash means. If there is 1 Nemesis turn order card in the turn order discard pile, and there is only 1, any player suffers 2 damage. So this time we're going to give it to her. And this was Unleash number 1. And then we do it again, so she suffers 2 more damage. And that's it. So, next up is player number 1. He deals 1 damage to the Umbra Titan. It's now down to 55. I actually play on easy mode, so Gravehold has 35 life and the Nemesis has 10 less. He has, first of all, he's going to focus his breach. And then he's going to use 4 to buy a spell, and he's going to buy Carbonize. And then he draws up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. And we see it's him again. He has no prepped spells. He's going to prep 1 now. He has 2, 3, 4, 6, and he could give her a card. And he's going to... Can she do anything? 1. No, she can't. Okay, so what he's going to do is he is going to focus his charges and he's going to lose them immediately and use them. So this means he can get a gem that costs 4 or less. So he does that. And he gives 4 life points back to Gravehold. Okay, and then he has 4 left, and he can play this and give her a spell. And that's the end of his turn. And now it's player 2. She deals 1 damage for the spark. And then she deals 2 damage plus 1 additional damage for each prepped spell. So she deals 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And that's it. Now she preps 2 spells. But she's also going to focus one of her breaches. She's going to put this here and she's going to put this here. And she draws 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. She's going to lose her charges, but that can't be helped now. Yeah. So Unleash twice. So Gravehold suffers 2 damage, and then 2 more, and she takes 3 damage, and she loses all her charges. That was painful. Okay, so end of round. You should have drawn up to 5 cards. And it's player number 2. And she deals 6 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And she gets to reveal the top card of the turn order deck, and it's the Nemesis. We're going to put it at the bottom. She gets 2 sparks, which she's going to prep. And she has 4, and she's going to buy a spell for this. And that's all she's going to do this round. She draws up to 5, sorry. And it's her turn again. So she releases the 2 prepped spells, and she deals 2 damage to the Nemesis. 1, 2. She is going to destroy this card to give herself back 3 life. And she is going to prep her spell. She has 2, 3, 4. First of all, he can prep a spell because of her ability. So she has 4, and she's going to get a breach ore. And that's her done for the round. So she gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. Next up, I'm pretty sure is the Nemesis. Yes, it is. And nothing happens at the moment. And we get a Null Scion. 11, it's a basic one, and it will unleash. Okay. And next up is player 1, and he deals 2 damage, and we're going to put those on the Scion. And he's going to focus his breach. He has no spells that he can prep, and he's got 2, 4. And he's going to get himself another breach ore. And then he draws 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. And it's him again. He has no prepped spells. He's going to prep 1 now. He's got 2, 4, 6. And he's going to get himself a convection field. Then he's going to draw up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. And we now know that it's going to be the Nemesis that goes. And first of all, we will unleash, and this means that Gravehold suffers 2 damage because we have 2 of its turn cards, and we get a Tomb Fright. If Umbra Titan has 5 or more Nemesis tokens, it loses a Nemesis token. Otherwise, Gravehold suffers 3 damage. We need to get rid of this guy, and fast. Okay, so he's got 8 damage. Okay. It is player number 2. She has 1, and she's going to deal 1 damage to the Tomb Fright. She's going to prep a couple of spells. 1, 2. She has this, and she's going to give herself a charge, and she's going to draw up to 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now she has 5 cards. Next up is the Nemesis Unleash. So any player suffers 2 damage. So we're going to give it to... Oh, it doesn't really matter. We're going to give it to him. And we lose 1 Nemesis token. And we get a Mage Ender. The player with the most open breaches suffers 2 damage. Okay. And it's player 1. He's going to deal 3 damage to this guy. And he's going to reveal the top card, and it is player 1 again. So we now know he's going to get to go twice. Oh no, he actually does 4 damage because that was in the top breach, in breach number 3, which deals +1 damage. Okay, so we know he's going to go next. And he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Going to get himself a primordial fetish, and he's going to add a charge. Oh no, he's got to give it to her, actually. Okay, but that's fine too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He gets to go immediately again. He does 1 damage to the Tomb Fright. 1. He's going to prep 1 spell. No, actually he does 2 because it's in the top one. So we're at 7. And he's 2, 4, 6. And he is going to... He's going to give himself these charges, which means he gets to take this card. And then he's going to give 4 life to Gravehold, so it's at 33. And he draws up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. Next up is probably the... No, it's player 2. Good. So she deals... 3 damage. So she deals 3 damage, so the Tomb Fright goes. And she deals another 3 damage to this guy. And she gets to look at the top card of the discard pile, but we already know what it is. Then we're going to prep a couple of spells. First of all, she's going to... no, isn't that fun? 1, 2. And then she's going to discard this, and she's going to draw 2 more cards, and that's all she can do. And next up is the Nemesis. So first of all, it's going to unleash. Gravehold suffers 2 damage. 1, 2. The player with the most open breaches suffers 2 damage. That would be him, so he takes 2 damage. The players collectively discard 2 prepped spells. Any player suffers 2 damage. Okay, so we're gonna discard this, and any player suffers 2 damage. That's going to be her. Okay. Majorly annoying, but hey. And it's the Nemesis again. Unleash. Any player suffers 2 damage. So she's got... yeah. And Unleash again. Any player suffers 2 damage. Sorry, the player with the most open breaches suffers 2 damage. That's him, so he takes 2 damage. And then we get a power card. Spend 7. Okay. And it's player number 1. Okay, so let's see. First of all, we're going to destroy this card to give him back 3 life. Then we've got 1, 3, 5. So first of all, he's going to prep this spell, and he's got 5, and he can't do anything with 5. So we're going to get another convection field. He draws up to 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it is player 2. She deals 3 damage. I'm just going to deal them to this guy. She can look at the top card, and it is player 2 again, so we know that she's going to go again. So, she's going to prep spells first. She's got 3. Yeah, she's going to get a volcanic glass shard. Or she could do this and gain a charge. She's going to do that. Draw up to 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's her again. She deals 4 damage. So that's 4, and she's going to put it on this guy. And she can look at the top card. It's player 1. That's fine. She has 2 spells, which she's going to prep. 1, 2. And she has the Amethyst Paragon, which lets him prep a spell in hand. And he does, and he will. And she gets 4 of these, and she's going to get a Primordial Fetish. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So next up is player 1, and he does 4 damage to this guy. No, he's going to do 3 to this guy and 4 to this guy. And he reveals the top card. We know already what it is. It's the Nemesis. And we can't do anything about this power card, I'm afraid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not enough. Or 6. We're going to take this and we're going to give him a charge. So she gets this and he gets a charge. Okay, good. We know it's the Nemesis Unleash. Gravehold suffers 2 damage. And this one unleashed twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the players collectively discard 3 cards in hand. Discard collectively. 1, 2, 3. And it is player 2. She deals 2 damage. That would be enough to kill this guy. So he's gone. And she has 1. She's going to prep. She's going to open her. Well, she's going to first open her breach and then prep this spell to it, because then she gets +1. And she draws 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it is player 1. He has no prepped spells. He's going to prep 1, and he's got 2, 4, 6. And he is going to get himself a Thought Form Familiar for 3, and he's going to give himself a charge. And then he's going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. And next up is player 2, and she does 2 damage to the Nemesis. 1, 2. Let's see what cards she has. Okay, so first of all, she's going to prep everything she's got. 1, 2, 3. And then she has, she can focus a breach, or she can give herself 3 life. And she's going to destroy this card to gain 3 life. And then she has 1 crystal with which she can do nothing. So she draws up to 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next up must be the Nemesis. No, it's player 1. He deals 2 damage to the Nemesis. We're now at 39. And as you can see, this is quite a tough game. I mean, it's really difficult, and they said so that the difficulty in this game was a lot higher than in the base game. He's going to prep a spell. He's going to prep 2 spells, and he's got 2, 4. And he's going to give himself a Primordial Fetish for this, and then draw up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. And next up is the Nemesis. And it is a Vault Behemoth. It's an Umbra Titan minion. Any player suffers 2 damage. If this minion has 8 or less life, Umbra Titan loses 1 Nemesis token. So you want to take him out in 1 round. And we now lose 2 life, and that's her. And we get another card, and that is a Demi-Ancient. Umbra Titan loses 1 Nemesis token. And he's got 18 woe. Okay, and next up is player 2, and she has a total of 6, 9, 10. We're going to take this guy out. And we get to look at the top card. And it is player 1. Okay, so now we're going to start prepping spells. 1, 2. We're going to give ourselves a charge. Like so, and we have 3 more, and we're going to give ourselves another charge. And it is player 1. Player 1 deals 4 damage to this Demi-Ancient. And he's going to prep his spells, 1, 2, and he's got 5, and he's going to give himself, no, he's going to get himself a convection field, actually. It's the Nemesis. We lose 1 token, and we get a power card. Spend 8 to discard. Any player suffers 6 damage, or Umbra Titan loses 3 Nemesis tokens. That's terrible. Okay. And it is player number 1. So first of all, we draw 5 cards. 2, 3, 4, 5. And we deal 4 damage, 7 damage. So, so he's at 11. We're going to prep a couple of spells. Well, the one spell that we've got. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 5, which we're going to give to her. And we get to look at the top card, and it is the Nemesis, so we're going to put it to the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First of all, she's going to deal 3 damage. And another 3, which is going to not kill this guy just yet. So he's now at 2, 4, 6, so 1 more to go. She doesn't have 8 to get rid of this card. She's gonna, oh no, we actually do 1 more damage because it was in the number 3 breach. So he is dead. That's good. So this one goes away. We are going to destroy this to get 3 life back. Two, 3, 4, and he can prep a spell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and he's going to prep a spell. So we have 3, and for this we're going to get a Conclave roll. We draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why am I actually playing her? Because it would have been him. Yeah, never mind. So we have to change this. So he goes now. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. Yeah, I made a mistake there, but that's fine. So now he gets to go. And he has 3, 4, 5 damage, which he's going to put on this, bringing it down to 34. And he can just give himself 3 life, which he's going to do. He has 2, 4, 6, not enough to destroy this. Yeah, he's going to get a fiery torrent. 3 cards. 4, 5. The Nemesis gets to go. First of all, we lose one of these, and then we get an attack. Unleash twice. So first of all, we Gravehold suffers 2 damage, 1, 2, and then another 1, 2. So we're now down to 19, and we destroy our 3 most expensive cards in hand. And what we're going to do is we are going to, let's see who's got the most expensive cards. So he's got 2 expensive cards. So she's going to destroy these 3 cards. They go away. Okay. And it is the Nemesis again. Any player suffers 6 damage. That would be her. And we get another attack. Resolve the most recently discarded attack card in the Nemesis pile. Any player unleash twice. So any player suffers 2 damage. So we're gonna do this here. And any player most expensive, 3 most expensive cards. Oh god, yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, so these go away. Yeah, that was unfortunate. Okay, so now it is the first player, and he has 1 crystal, nothing happens, and he draws up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next up is player 2. She deals 2 damage to the Nemesis. 1, 2. And she has 2 sparks, which she's going to prep, and that's all she can do. She gets 5 cards back. Next up is player 1. He deals 2 damage to the Nemesis. It's now down to 30. He's going to prep 2 spells, and he's got 2, 4, 5. So he's going to give himself the charges, and he's going to get this card for this, and he's going to give 4 to Gravehold back. So it's 23 now. And then he has 1 that he can't use for anything. Oh no! Yeah, he's got 1 that he can't use for anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And next up is player 2. Deals 3 damage in total to the Nemesis, which is then down to 27. She is going to prep her spells. And she is 1, 2, 4. And she's going to give herself these charges. And she's going to draw up 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And next up is the Nemesis. Yeah. And it is a Cataclysmic Fate power card. Destroy a prepped spell that costs 5 or more and a breach in which it was prepped. Or the player with the lowest life suffers 4 damage. Woohoo. Okay, power 1. Okay. And is player 2. So first of all, she deals 3, 4, 5 damage, 27. Down to 22. Then she's going to prep her spells. She's going to give herself another charge. She is going to she is then going to use her charges to start casting. She's going to cast this spell for 5 and this spell for 4 is 9. So that's 13 then for the Nemesis. And she puts them back into the player's hand. And then she's going to cast her spell here, which is 4, which is 3, which is 4. So now the Nemesis is down to 9. And then she can prep this spell again because it's now in her hand. And she is going to use these 3 to get herself a Conclave scroll. And then she's going to draw up to 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now it is player 1. Player 1 is going to prep his spells. And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, depending on okay, we're going to destroy this spell and the breach that it came with. So this one is now destroyed. So this goes away. Because the main thing is we need to get rid of this card. And then now he has 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's going to, is he going, no, he's going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he's going to give her this card. Goes up to 5 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And next up is player 2. And player 2 is going to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 on the Nemesis, so it's down to 2. She's going to prep the spells that she has. 1, 2. And she's going to give herself a charge, like so. And she has 2, 4. And for these 4, she's going to get herself another Thought Familiar. And then she's going to draw up to 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it is probably, no, it's player 1. Wow, and we've won the game. We deal 4 damage, 5. So the Nemesis is now at -3. And we have another one for 3. So the Nemesis is dead and we only lost 6 tokens. And the next we would be able to look at the top card now, but we know it's the Nemesis. So that was a playthrough of the Umbra Titan with 2 mages on easy mode. So the Umbra Titan only has 10. But as you can see, even if it had 10 more, we would still have won on the next turn. And I'm going to do a sit down to talk about the game. I don't think I'm going to do any more playthroughs because there are so many playthroughs out there. And I also have the the Legacy edition downstairs, which I'm going to do an unboxing of. And then I'm going to do a couple of playthroughs probably of that to kind of see how the Legacy aspect unfolds. So that was Aeon's End War Eternal, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.